Hi again, everybody. Now that elections are imminent, I hope you'll pay particular attention to what's at stake this time around. Now, I'm going to tell you about some of the problems that many Singaporeans like you and I face, and more importantly, what the SDP can do to help. Let's start with the cost of living, something which many of you are concerned about. We are already one of the most expensive cities in the world, and yet the PAP keeps raising prices and taxes on anything and everything that it can think of. In the last 3 years alone, it hiked prices on 16, that's right, 16 items, from water to school fees to electricity rates, you name it, the PAP has raised it. On top of all this, the PAP has promised to increase the GST from 7% to 9%. Now, I know it's hard to keep track of all these increases and what they're doing to your pockets. If you're like me, you probably don't look at every receipt every time you buy something. But by the end of the month, when your paycheck comes in, before you can even say, "Wah, piang," it's all gone to paying the bills. It's no wonder that Singaporeans are unable to save. And one survey found that 50% of Singaporeans are unable to stretch their savings to last for 6 months and are unprepared for an emergency. And more than half of you say that money is your top source of stress. And get this concern is particularly high among millennials, 63% of them. Your family and personal budgets are already so tight, it just got tighter by a few more $100 with all these price hikes that I cited. Is the PAP really thinking of you? So what does the SDP propose to do about this? We drew up a 10-point plan to make the cost of living more bearable. Let me highlight a couple. The first is to spend prudently. You don't pay $800,000 for a rubbish collection center or $500,000 for a computer system that couldn't be integrated into an existing system, or $1,500 for a bus stop bench, or $40 million for a single National Day parade, or blow the Youth Olympic Games budget by $300 million, or hundreds of millions of dollars on financial assistance for foreign students. The PAP are big spenders, and to indulge in this kind of lifestyle, they are also big taxes. That's why it keeps increasing prices. Ultimately, you and I are the ones who end up paying for the extravagance. If the PAP spends more wisely and prudently, then you don't have to keep on raising taxes. We also propose that we abolish the GST for essential items like medicine, basic foodstuffs, and school supplies. To offset the drop in revenue collection, the government can increase the GST for luxury items like gold watch or top-of-the-line branded shoes, or going to 5-star Michelin restaurants. 3, we propose lowering healthcare costs by stopping the practice of using our hospitals as profit-driven centers. Now, in this short video, I don't have the time to go through all of our ideas to lower the cost of living, but please read them on our website, yoursdp.org. The second big issue that Singaporeans are worried about is the expensive housing. For younger Singaporeans who are thinking of settling down and starting a family, you have to start thinking about buying a flat. But BTO prices will make you break out in cold sweat. An international organization specializing in housing pricing called International Demographia rates HDB prices in Singapore as seriously unaffordable. An average 4-room flat can easily cost up to $300,000 to $400,000. By the time you finish paying up the amount plus interest, which effectively doubles the price, you have so little money in your CPF account that you can never retire, not to mention having enough money for everyday use. And here's the important bit. In this new economy, there's no such thing as a stable job anymore. It's called the gig economy, where temporary positions are common and companies prefer to give out short-term contract work. Your income is not stable, much less guaranteed. Yet you have to keep up with your housing payments, which don't stop. And heaven help you if you are retrenched in this increasingly unstable job market. So how can the SDP help? We've proposed what we call the non-open market, or NOM flat scheme. Here's how it works. The government has a land bank that it pays little or no money for. It then packages the land, sells it to HDB at a high price, and the HDB then factors this price into your flat and makes you pay for it. And we estimate that this land cost makes up more than half of your HDB price. Under our NOM idea, the government removes the land cost from HDB prices. Remember, a so-called cost that it pays nothing for. Under our proposal, the government charges Singaporeans only for the material, labor, service, and administrative costs. As I said, this effectively lowers HDB prices by half. It means that you get to keep your CPF savings, which you need for your later years. As a result, you have bigger spending power because you don't have to scrimp and save for your retirement when you already have so much of your salary for your CPF funds taken off in the first place. Of course, NOM flats means that you cannot resell your flat on the open market. You have to sell your flat back to HDB minus the amount of number of years you lived in the flat. But that's okay, because at the end of the day, your house should be your home and not a commodity that you trade for a profit. The problems that we face today in our housing system are a result of our using public housing as a profit-making business. The next issue that most Singaporeans are concerned about is the selling out of our people by the extraordinary influx of foreigners into this country. The problem is that the PAP's approach is too liberal. As a result, many companies discriminate against Singaporeans because foreigners can accept lower wages. The government says that without foreigners, our economy would collapse. Have you ever wondered why, after more than half a century of its education policies, the PAP now tells us that we are not skilled or competent enough to drive our own economy and have to depend on foreigners? Then it tells us that we are too small to be competitive, that we need a bigger population. I say nonsense. Look at Ireland, a population of 5 million, produced 7 Nobel laureates. Norway, with 5.5 million, has 13 Nobel Prize winners. Denmark, 5.8 million, 14 Nobel winners. And Austria, 8.7 million people with 21 laureates. Even Luxembourg, with a population size 1/10 of ours, has produced 2 Nobel Prize winners. These countries are also very innovative, producing world beaters in the commercial sector. Lego, Pandora Jewelry, Carlsberg are from Denmark. Sweden, which has a population not much bigger than ours, boasts companies like IKEA, Volvo, Spotify, H&M, Electrolux, and so on. None of these countries depend on foreigners. Their own peoples drive their own economies, not foreigners. The truth, my friends, is that you don't need a huge population to be a smart population and run an innovative economy. You just need to let the people go, allow them to think and read and express themselves freely, instead of instilling fear in them and insisting that they be unquestioningly obedient to the ruling party. Freedom and democracy are the key to creativity and innovation. I've said this many times before, and I say it again. Creativity and innovation is what is going to allow Singapore to be competitive and relevant in the future global economy. If we don't give the people more freedom, we are going to be in deep, deep trouble. The SDP's proposal of opening up the system and bringing in fewer foreigners will create a better living, less stressful environment. This will encourage more Singaporeans to stay put and not emigrate. Those living here will be happier, more secure, and as a consequence, more productive and innovative. Again, I cannot go through all of the proposals in this short video, but I encourage you to read our population policy, or at least a summary of it, on our website. So the next time that PAP and its supporters say that the SDP knows only how to criticize but not propose alternative ideas, please show them this video. My fellow Singaporeans, if we don't change course and change for the better, mark my words, we will surely continue our downward spiral as circumstances are already showing. Our economy is down, things are getting more expensive, Singaporeans are emigrating in droves, our birth rate is at its lowest in our nation's history, opportunity for our youth is diminishing, older citizens cannot retire, we are getting more and more crowded by the year, and stress is piling up. Our country cannot go on like this. The SDP has been disciplined to draw up these alternative policies because our country needs to change direction. We put up these alternative ideas and solutions because we strive to be a responsible and constructive party. We want to reason with you, not just come up with empty rhetoric. We want to be well-equipped and knowledgeable when we enter Parliament. In simple language, we want the PAP to listen to you, the people, and be a truly consultative government. And to do that, we need to know what we are talking about. And this is the hallmark of a credible party. We only ask that you don't miss this crucial opportunity to get us into Parliament at the next election, which will take place in a few months' time. Pass this video around, won't you? I'll see you again.